Hello and welcome to the CNY Business Connection. I'm Jason Weinstein. Coming up on this week's show, how Chobani yogurt has found the secret to success in central New York, plus a dairy story of a different kind, how local farmers may find some help from Washington to help rein in fluctuating milk prices. But we'll begin with the latest in business news from around the area.
After a few signatures and handshakes, Lockheed Martin handed over the 300th Common Cockpit to the United States Navy. The Common Cockpit is the hub for all activity aboard the Navy's MH-60 Romeos and MH-60 Sierras, and Lockheed Martin has continuously worked on the cockpit for years.
We've evolved the cockpit over the last 10 years to account for the increased workloads that come with the various missions that we've added to the helicopters.
And the military is convinced that Lockheed Martin is doing a great job. U.S. Navy Captain Mike Cashman praised the local employees on the work they've done on their aircrafts.
I sleep well at night sending my aircrew out into harm's way because of what you do up here.
The Common Cockpit that the Navy received today consists of 4 large flat panels that are multifunctioning with night vision capabilities and even display screens that can provide instant information on everything from the weather to weapons, and Captain Cashman can't wait to bring it back to base.
I could not be more proud to accept this aircraft and to bring it down to the fleet where some guys and gals are gonna use it and use it in defense of our nation. They're gonna use it to save lives, and it is just an awesome capability.
As for Lockheed, the feeling is mutual.
We're proud to provide the cockpit, which is the heart and soul of the system.
Lockheed will be kept busy with work. The Navy plans to buy additional aircrafts which will use the Common Cockpit through 2015.
Congressman Maurice Hinchey is blasting the gas drilling industry for not taking seriously what he says is the serious threat to the nation's drinking water supplies. Hinchey points to findings published in the New York Times citing radiation levels in wastewater from hydrofracking as hundreds or thousands of times higher than acceptable levels. But the gas industry says much of that wastewater never makes it into rivers and streams or drinking supplies, but is instead reused for drilling in other wells.
Well, this is just another false statement because there's no oversight of any of that kind of operation to make sure that that kind of thing would be happening. And as a consequence of that, it's not happening.
Hinchey says the long-term consequences of high radiation levels in drinking water would be devastating to the health and future of New Yorkers. A new study finds a link between cell phone use and brain activity. Researchers say radiation emitted from just 50 minutes on a cell phone increases the activity of brain cells. However, the researchers say the effects of this brain activity are unknown. They're calling for more study. The trade group representing the wireless industry says cell phone use has never been found to be a health threat.
Hello, layoffs and goodbye services. That's what a number of local officials are saying we can expect if Governor Andrew Cuomo gets his proposed 2% property tax cap across the state. Binghamton's Mayor Matt Ryan says the math simply doesn't work.
If there's a 2% property tax cap put in with pensions costs going up another 40% this year and are always increasing medical costs another 15 to 18%, that's a $3.9 million budget deficit before we even do anything else.
Broome County Legislature Chairman Jerry Marinich is also seeing red.
If there's a cap on there and there's no mandate relief, it's going to place an undue burden on the county, which then we have no recourse except to cut services.
Governor Cuomo's mandate reform will do some good for municipalities in the future, but some local leaders believe the governor needs to work on the present before he can actually focus on the future.
Points us in some good directions for the future, but it doesn't seem to address any of the current issues and the problems that we have.
Those are things that are down the road, and they're going to help down the road. There's no doubt about it. But we need immediate relief now, and the taxpayers of Broome County need immediate relief now.
But Mayor Ryan has an idea of his own. He thinks Governor Cuomo should look to the past for tips on taxing.
If we just went back to the Clinton-era tax rates, in the next 4 years, we'd have a $1 trillion surplus instead of a $4 trillion deficit. We have to start making people pay their fair share.
Chairman Marinich has an idea, too. He thinks counties should mandate themselves.
For one-size-fit-all for New York State hasn't worked. And so, therefore, maybe we should try this. Let's take a look at maybe letting the counties pick what services they feel will serve their constituents the best.
But at the end of the day, reform will happen, and municipalities are going to have to somehow make it work.
We hope you enjoyed that. When we come back, do women act with emotion in business? And if so, any differently than men? Our friends at Prendismo.com will tackle that issue, plus how local farmers may be getting help from Washington with the fluctuation of milk prices.
I'm Norm Poltenson. I've published the Central New York Business Journal for 25 years. Our success is based on the fact that we know only one audience, owners and managers of businesses in Central New York. We publish stories for them. We don't offer sound bites, and we always source our information. Maybe technology's changed since I started publishing 25 years ago, but not our mission. You can always rely on the Central New York Business Journal providing your business news.
I'm Susan from Tarjac. You may know us as the source for the best camo for your guns and bows, but we do so much more. Our custom work with automotive parts can transform any vehicle, our ATVs, sleds, four-wheelers, motorcycles. We've received national recognition for our work with Orange County Choppers, and we are most proud of our partnership with the future servicemen by providing customized helmets for the Army-Navy game. From the national stage to your favorite hunting ground, it's Tarjac.
Welcome back. Over the last handful of years, there has been a decline of local dairy farms in central New York. But now, some help may be on hand from Washington with the fluctuation of dairy prices. Steve Craig has more.
The problem is the price of milk, often not high enough to offset the cost to produce it, and subject to wild and mysterious swings.
The peaks and valleys are very, very steep, and it makes it very difficult to make a profit.
Every day the milk truck comes to the Whitaker farm here in the town of Nanticoke to haul away about 4,000 gallons of milk. So what's the bottom line for the Whitakers? Because of the way milk is priced, they won't know for at least a month.
The milk that leaves our farm today, we have no idea what we're going to be paid for it. So it's hard to make a budget and plan ahead to make ends meet.
For example, some of this truckload will wind up 40 miles away at the Chobani yogurt plant, where demand for milk is extremely high. But that local demand doesn't affect how much Scott Whitaker will eventually be paid.
It is a crazy business.
How crazy?
Right now, the price of milk is determined based on the price of cheese in Chicago.
That is, the price of cheese is traded on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which is why Senator Gillibrand wants accurate reporting of cheese stockpiles, which can now be overestimated to depress the price of milk. Another reform she's pushing, linking the farm price of milk to regional demand.
Difference, because one of the things we want to look towards is beginning to set the price based on competitive markets. And New York is a competitive market. We have buyers of milk all across New York, and we could easily determine what a competitive price is for fluid milk.
Senator Gillibrand's on the right track, and we can hope that the farmers will get together with her and settle this once and for all.
For her part, Gillibrand says she's getting together with senators from other dairy states to build support for these and other changes to stop the drop in the number of local farms.
We hope you enjoyed that. Time now for a bit of business wisdom from someone who has lived it, thanks to our friends at Prendismo.com, partnering with entrepreneurs for success. This week's bit of business wisdom has to do with whether or not women act with emotion in business, and if so, any differently than men.
Too much emotion, putting so much emotion into business decisions, which really at the end of the day, if you're working for a company, it comes down to dollar and cents at the end of the day. It's a business. It isn't an emotional endeavor. And if you're in corporate America, it's a business. I mean, if you're in other elements, and it may be more of an emotional attachment. But I think that was the hard thing I found, was taking things personally and driving too much with their emotion of when they felt angry or sad, and letting that influence their behavior within the environment. And that was the one thing that I guess I felt it was disabling to the team when that happened. And you almost felt like, well, I don't want to say anything because she's going to think I'm trying to tell her not to be, gender, be true to your gender, which is that you are perhaps more emotional. Yet that was the one thing that I found in it. It was always helpful to be able to say, I can be emotional and I can be very feminine, but when I'm making business decisions, I have to be business oriented. And I can't try to sway a business to be more emotionally grounded if that's not what, at the end of the day, the business is about. So I think that would be about the only thing when I would see people get very upset and come to tears, and I would step back and say, but it's a business issue. And so I wish it didn't make them feel that way and that they wouldn't be so emotional.
Thanks again to our friends at Prendismo.com for that. When we come back, it's our business improvement segment. Bob Stezzi stops by to talk about the traits of peak performers, and Cyber City stops by to help you with your email retrieval and archiving strategy.
I'm Norm Poltenson. I've published the Central New York Business Journal for 25 years. Our success is based on the fact that we know only one audience, owners and managers of businesses in Central New York. We publish stories for them. We don't offer sound bites, and we always source our information. Maybe technology's changed since I started publishing 25 years ago, but not our mission. You can always rely on the Central New York Business Journal providing your business news.
I'm Susan from Tarjac. You may know us as the source for the best camo for your guns and bows, but we do so much more. Our custom work with automotive parts can transform any vehicle, our ATVs, sleds, four-wheelers, motorcycles. We've received national recognition for our work with Orange County Choppers, and we are most proud of our partnership with the future servicemen by providing customized helmets for the Army-Navy game. From the national stage to your favorite hunting ground, it's Tarjac.
Welcome back. Time now for our business improvement segment, and we'll kick it off with our latest tech tip from Cyber City. And this week, Cyber City talks about an email retrieval and archiving strategy.
Hello, my name is Debbie Morse, Account Manager at Cyber City, a division of Blue Storm Technologies. Today, we are all faced with increased volumes of business email that can lead to challenges with storage and retrieval. These retrieval challenges are compounded if your business faces regulatory issues that require making your historical records available to audits and legal reviews for e-discovery requests. The best way to manage your business's email communications regarding these challenges is to implement an email archiving solution. Even if your organization does not have these regulatory requirements, there still are many advantages to implementing an archiving solution for your business. You might be thinking that your regular backup process is enough for your business. This may be true if your only need is to restore files in case of a disk crash or similar loss of data. But what if you need access to these records as part of your regular workday? Archiving provides users the added layer of search and retrieval that allows your team to pull in archive files as they are needed. An added benefit to archiving can be realized in lowered storage requirements and its associated costs. Let's consider when data files or work plans are emailed throughout your team. Your archiving solution can store a single instance of the email and any attachments to the archiving server. Users can then search and retrieve files when they want to see it. This saves desktop storage and email server overhead for all those larger files that would have been delivered to users that never open them. This archiving solution also provides a single point of backup for protecting your organization's shared work documents, optimizing the use of technology resources and thus reducing the overall business investment. Archiving is also important for your long-term plans. When planning an archiving solution for your email systems, it's crucial to remember the importance of protecting your organization's online communication and the peace of mind that comes with knowing that your data records are safely stored and easily accessible. And it's also good to know that your archiving solution will also lead to storage savings. To learn how archiving solutions can fit into your organization's strategic IT plan, please contact me or your Cyber City account manager to arrange for a discussion and understand the options available for your business.
Thanks to our friends at Cyber City for that. Time now for the latest from Bob Stezzi from Stezzi Training and Consulting. And this week, Bob talks about the traits of peak performers.
Especially in today's economy, organizations are more concerned than ever with employee performance. If we are going to help people to perform to the best of their ability, we really need to understand what it takes to be a peak performer. Today, what we're going to share with you is the results of Charles Garfield's research on peak performance in the workplace. In his research, Charles Garfield found that one of the things all peak performers have in common is they transcend previous levels of accomplishment. In other words, they don't rest on their laurels and they continue to set more goals as they accomplish things. Another thing that peak performers do is they avoid comfort zone ruts. In other words, they broaden their horizons and look for areas besides the ones they're comfortable with to learn about and get involved in. Garfield himself is a prime example. He was actually a mathematician on the Apollo 11 project. And when that project was finished and we successfully landed someone on the moon, he got into psychology where he started his research on peak performance. Another thing that we find about peak performers is they're guided by compelling internal goals. Take the time to figure out what your own personal values are and make sure that your goals are in alignment with those values. You'll be much more motivated to accomplish them when you see that they're really the right thing for you. Garfield also found that peak performers confidently take risks. And what this means is peak performers will do the research, they will prepare themselves, but they won't take forever to make a decision to start action. Once they feel that they're ready, they go into action, and they expect to win, by the way. Peak performers always intend to succeed, and if they don't, they just deal with the setback. Peak performers also solve problems as opposed to placing blame. In other words, peak performers look at mistakes and setbacks as temporary and inevitable, and they do what they can to solve the problem. Peak performers all rehearse mentally. In other words, they imagine themselves succeeding. We're always preparing mentally either to succeed or to fail, and peak performers are very optimistic. In order to attain peak performance, you have to go there mentally first. If you'd like to learn more about how you can maximize your performance on the job, call Stesi Training or go to stesitraining.com. Thank you.
Thanks again to Bob for that. When we come back, the story of Chobani Yogurt, how it has found the secret to success in Central New York.
I'm Norm Poltenson. I've published the Central New York Business Journal for 25 years. Our success is based on the fact that we know only one audience, owners and managers of businesses in Central New York. We publish stories for them, we don't offer sound bites, and we always source our information. Maybe technology's changed since I started publishing 25 years ago, but not our mission. You can always rely on the Central New York Business Journal providing your business news.
I'm Susan from Tarjac. You may know us as the source for the best camo for your guns and bows, but we do so much more. Our custom work with automotive parts can transform any vehicle, our ATVs, sleds, four-wheelers, motorcycles. We've received national recognition for our work with Orange County Choppers, and we are most proud of our partnership with the future servicemen by providing customized helmets for the Army-Navy game. From the national stage to your favorite hunting ground, it's Tarjac.
Welcome back. It's a simple recipe and a simple philosophy, but it's all equaled explosive success for the Chobani Yogurt Company in Central New York. Steve Craig has more with this two-part look at Chobani.
As fast as they can, the machines inside the agro-pharma plant near New Berlin churn out Chobani, trying to keep up with demand that has soared 225% in just the last year. It's called Greek-style yogurt, but it's what Hamdi Yulakaya's family has been making in Turkey for generations.
Look, we didn't invent this. This has been around for 1,000 years, thousands of years, I don't know how many years, but this is what yogurt was supposed to be. We had milk coming from the farms, we put our recipe cultures in there, and 10 hours later it becomes a yogurt, and that's it.
Except for straining, which creates the signature creaminess, a big part of the appeal that has Chobani converts consuming 17 million cups of it every week, $260 million worth last year. Not bad for a 90-year-old plant Kraft gave up on 6 years ago. Ulukaya was hesitant but bought the place, then hired a master yogurt maker from Turkey.
And between him and I and a couple of people in the plant, we put our Chobani recipe together, and we knew we had it perfect. We designed our cups, and then it was time to rock and roll.
And rocket to the top of the Greek-style yogurt charts in just 4 years. Sales propelled mainly by word of mouth and social media.
Because we were getting phone calls and letters from our consumers saying, this is the best product I have, and I'm going to tell all my friends and family about it.
2 of those consumers are now starring in Chobani's first TV ads, running on national broadcast and cable channels.
I finally made it to the Chobani factory. This is awesome.
A simple message helping this simple product fend off the imitators that always accompany success on this scale. Norwich-based AgroPharma creates jobs the old-fashioned way.
I would say almost no help from the state or from the federal government. Zero.
Like the Chobani recipe and marketing strategy, the business plan is simple. Turn a renewable, local, high-quality resource into a high-value consumer product. It's worked so well that plant employment is expected to jump from 300 to 500 this year. And the operation supports an estimated 1,000 farm jobs.
AgroPharma did this, but without you, this wouldn't be possible. So this is your story too. This is your success. You did your end, and you do it so beautifully, producing this milk. One of the, I think, best quality milk in the world.
The DeGlee Dairy Farm, 200 cows now, soon 200 more, plus a dedicated milking parlor. Big investments made more easily, knowing the Chobani plant 10 miles away buys 3 million pounds of milk every day.
I'm just happy that it's going to provide jobs, it's going to provide an outlet for the milk, and I'm happy that the company is being successful.
We feel that this Chobani is a big asset, not only to Shenango County, but to New York State.
Others feel that way too, including the Mid-York Press, which just got an order for 500,000 pieces of packaging for the new Chobani Kids line.
That could translate into 500,000 every 2 months if things work out the way we hope they do, but it really depends on their sales.
If the recent past is a good predictor of the future, sales should not be a problem.
Our thanks to Steve for that. And that does it for this episode of the Central New York Business Connection. Thank you very much for joining us. Until next time, I'm Jason Weinstein. Have a good one.